is, of course, remember, an anticipated meeting that is slated to take place between Trump and Putin. And ahead of that, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has spoken to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where the Prime Minister has urged for a peaceful resolution on the ongoing violent conflict. The Prime Minister Modi, shared that he heard Zelenskyy's perspectives on the recent developments and conveyed India's consistent position on the need for an early and peaceful resolution of the conflict. In fact, he also reiterated that India remains committed to making every possible contribution in resolution to the war and to further strengthen bilateral ties with Ukraine. In fact, there is a post on social media platform X where Zelenskyy has stated India's importance in supporting peace efforts. He also reportedly emphasized on the necessity to limit the export of Russian energy, particularly oil, to reduce its potential and ability to finance the continuation of the war. The Ukrainian president concluded by expressing his eagerness to meet Prime Minister Modi at the UNGA, which is scheduled for September this year. Now, the call has come just days after the Russian President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Modi also spoke over the telephone, wherein the Prime Minister reiterated that this is not the era of war, while also stressing on the need to bring in a peaceful solution to the war. Now, these conversations clearly indicate a sustained diplomatic engagement between India and Ukraine, with both the leaders discussing various aspects of the conflict and exploring avenues for cooperation. It also comes at a crucial time when the US President Donald Trump is scheduled to meet Putin on the 15th of August. They have in fact reportedly spoken privately as many as 7 times since Trump left office in 2021. So this will be their first face-to-face meeting that will take place since 2019. The summit's main agenda is, of course, going to be, as expected, the ending of the war.
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made.
How will you know that?
Because that's what I do. I make deals. Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be
How
made.
will you know that?
Because that's what I do. I make deals.
So the US President Donald Trump, very fond of saying that he makes deals, yet again saying that when he meets Putin, he will know whether there is a deal or not. But let's get you a timeline of the peace talks and India's role in this peace talk between Russia as well as Ukraine. So let's talk about what has happened back in 2022 as well. Remember, in February, the Prime Minister had spoken to the Ukrainian President Zelenskyy. In fact, days after that, the leaders had discussed the safety of the nuclear installations as well. And in December 2022 as well, Zelenskyy had reached out to the Prime Minister. So there have been consistent talks between India and Ukraine, with the Prime Minister and Zelenskyy speaking to each other consistently in 2022. And of course, this has also continued up until now. In 2024 as well, Zelenskyy had thanked India for its support. And in June 2024, they had also met at the G7 summit. Remember, Prime Minister Modi had also met Zelenskyy. A meeting had taken place. The Prime Minister had met Zelenskyy during his US visit. So this has been the timeline showing consistently how India has engaged with Ukraine and, of course, with Russia as well for a peaceful